Hello and welcome to thesixaxis.com. We have got the brand new Nintendo Switch OLED in for our review, and we're going to be having a quick look around the hardware for this particular video. For our full review, thoughts and impressions, head over to thesixaxis.com where we have got all of that written up for you. But for now, let's just dive in to have a look at the hardware. So as you can immediately see, this is the OLED screen. It is so much bigger on the face of the console, and for this video we are now able to do a proper side-by-side comparison shot. So let's just stack those up together, and yeah, you can see it is 7 inches versus I think it's 6.2 inches, and it just fills out that frame on the front of the console. You don't have anywhere near as much of a border. And personally, playing this, I can happily go between the two, but obviously having the larger screen is going to be preferable if you want it. The other thing that you're obviously straight away going to notice, and let's just load up the game, is that basically it's so much brighter, it's so much more vibrant and colourful, and that is something that's going to be very, very difficult to reproduce in this video because, well, you're probably not watching it on an OLED screen, and so then you don't have that real point of comparison. But I think you can maybe just about make out the fact that it is much more vibrant, it's much more colourful. There's obviously, as I said, the factors like the tilt of the screen, tilt of the angle of the camera, and various other things that are going to colour that impression. But aside from that, let's look at the console itself. As you've just been able to see, it is almost identical in size to the original Nintendo Switch. It's just like maybe 1 or 2 millimeters wider. And also on the sides, it's just as thick, and that means that the exact same Joy-Con rails exist on the side of the console. This means that all of the existing Joy-Con and the other peripherals that can slot into this, they will work exactly the same as they do with the original, but now you have a snazzy new white Joy-Con controller. Around the back of the console is where things get really, really interesting for fans of tabletop gaming, where the original Nintendo Switch has this single kickstand which has one fixed angle. You have this full width kickstand on the new Nintendo Switch, and that gives you so much more freedom. It can be placed in any position that you want it to, and as you can see, it's got these really, really deep cutouts into the side of the consoles for these chunky hinges, which are really, really nice and firm. You will also find your micro SD card slots tucked in underneath there, and now because of this change, you can no longer have these vents along the back, and so they now run along the bottom edge of the console. They're quite difficult to make out. To keep it up, also very difficult to make out, you have these two little rubber nubbins. I'm going to see if I can get that into focus there. Little rubber nubbins there, and that's going to just lift it ever so slightly up off the table, which is going to make sure that there's clearance for that air vent. And of course, the other nice new feature that you have with a brand new Nintendo Switch OLED is a brand new Nintendo Switch dock. It is white as with the Joy-Con, and that makes a really nice look to the console when you slot it in. But on the inside, you have much shinier, glossy plastic, which there's no hard edges here. So if you have ever worried about a Nintendo Switch screen getting scratched up, you don't have to worry about that this time. Around the back, you then have the familiar panel, but what's different is it actually comes completely off. And then on the inside, you have your power, HDMI, and instead of a USB 3 port, you can't really see it, but there's an Ethernet slot there. There's an Ethernet port, which means that you don't have to buy an adapter, and it means that you will have that guaranteed best Wi-Fi, best internet connection that you can possibly get on the console. Whereas this console still has the same kind of issues, maybe with being stuck on a much slower 2.4 gigahertz connection than is ideal. So there you have it, that's the Nintendo Switch OLED. Those are all of the changes. It has got the exact same power profile as the original Nintendo Switch, so if you want to get this, the reason for getting it is really going to depend on how you use the console. If you're playing on TV, you're going to get the exact same experience. If you're playing handheld though, you might want the benefits of the larger screen, and if you're tabletop, well, you have so much more flexibility with the kickstand. You also have the larger screen, which can help out, and you do have some larger speakers, which can go a little bit louder than the original console design. That's all that we have for this video today though. Make sure to head over to the6thAxis.com for our full written up impressions, and you can also find our Metroid Dread review, which is launching right alongside the Switch OLED on the 8th of October. Thanks as ever for checking out our video, and hopefully you found it useful. Make sure to like, subscribe, do all of the usual YouTube things, and hopefully we will see you again soon. Goodbye!